Hey guys. Okay, so some of the questions that I get are how do you start communication with angels, deities, that kind of things? Because there is not just one God. There are other gods, right? So communication would be one. I did write down some of my notes and then I have my board here, but the communication that I wrote down would be touch, numbers, music, like ghost, spirit, that kind of thing. They can manipulate electronics, right? They can use those to maybe like if you're in your car and maybe you're thinking about something, and then all of a sudden, for some reason, your brain tunes into that radio and it kind of answers your question, or a song will come on that, like, maybe you're being a little bitchy or maybe you're being a little ticky, and a song will come on like that, kind of like your angels are saying, look, pipe down, okay? Like, I know you're sweet and psycho, but you need to calm down, okay? That kind of stuff. So they will manipulate electronics. Now, numbers, you may notice that numbers may come across in synchronized patterns, or you may have 222. You may be going down the road and you always see on the back of license plate certain numbers. I encourage you guys to look those up because a lot of those are angel numbers, or they're also trying to, your angels, ascendants, are trying to communicate with you through numbers to kind of give you a play by play as to what's going on, like in your life, or what could happen in your life, right? Kind of foreseeing maybe what you're kind of thinking. Maybe you're going through something. You're like, hey, like, I don't know what to do in this situation. You guys guide me. And then all of a sudden they'll start giving you numbers or manipulating electronics. Like, say, again, you're in your car, you're kind of thinking about the same thing. And you're like, damn, I don't know what to do with this. I don't know how to process this. And then all of a sudden something will come on the radio and you're like, okay, well, then I would kind of start to put that on the back burner. If you go into doubt, because sometimes I'm like, look, guys, I'm sorry that I'm doubting you right now, but I need you to give me like another sign. Okay. So that could be even touch. When I talk to my guides, when I bring them in, they touch the left side of my cheek. Now, I have a friend that has passed, and I know whenever she's around or if she's communicating with me, she may squeeze the top of my knee. Those little things I have learned to recognize because I'm trying to have this communication again with something that I can't see physically unless I tap into it, right? You're trying to have this communication with them. So you can only think that there's only so many ways to communicate, right? When you tap into source, now it's almost like they give you like this, okay, here's the communication that I'll do with you, because it's across the board, right? You can talk to any psychic medium, you can look up anything on Pinterest, and it's going to kind of say like, Robins do this, or past loved ones, or that kind of thing. So you have to give it some validity that the spirit world actually is trying to talk to us. So they may do that again through numbers or even touch. So start to notice that if you're in meditation, right, and you are starting to bring in your angels, like call the four corners of your angels, call in your ascendants, because past loved ones are going to want to protect you too, and they're also going to want to communicate with you as to what's going on. It's almost like you have this little friend or past loved one, whatever passed in human form, right? Guiding you. They're telling you what's up. They're telling you that this person is lying. They're telling you that, you know what, maybe this trip is not a good trip that you need to go on, because they are in the spiritual realm and they can see things beyond what we can see, right? So touch, music, anything like that, they will use that for us to be able to communicate with them. We just have to tap into that. We have to be aware. We have to be super aligned or conscious of those kind of things that are going to come into our life. Because if we're in this 3D realm and we're always distracted by all these little things, especially the media going on in our life, I think that if I were in spirit, I would have a hard time communicating with a human that is super distracted. They're always on their phone. They're always, something, right? Even jamming out in your car. I love to get in my car, play music, crank it up, dance a little bit, sing a little bit, and that's great. There has to be time to be still. There has to be time to be silent, right? Sometimes I use that in the car. That's my time to be silent, to listen, to what's going on. And sometimes they'll even tell you, you need to slow down. And then you turn that bend and there's a cop and you're like, thanks guys. You know, that's where you tap in. Now, had I been in my car listening to that music, bumping out, I may not have gotten that message and a ticket. You know, if you stay aligned and you start to really understand like your surroundings and actually everything that is in your surroundings, right? Ghosts, spirits, demons, all these things, right? That are in your realm. You just can't see it because the little veil, right? Tapping into that or wanting to communicate with the other side is going to mean that you're going to have to still yourself. You're going to have to be real aligned and understand the messages that are coming through. Okay. If you do not understand the messages that are coming through, that's fine. That's what DuckDuckGo is for. Okay. Use the outlets that you have. Okay. It's all right there. Everything is pretty much on the internet. Okay. If not, and maybe you're dealing with something, ask source. Go in, do some automatic writing, get still, and just whatever pops into your head, write it down. You can also do journaling. That's another thing. When you're starting to write and you're writing about your, about your life or traumas, childhood traumas, whatever you're going through. When you start to write down, that is energy to paper. That is also a release. That is also when you can start to get downloads. Maybe things will pop into your brain and you're like, where'd that come from? But you already started self-development and you already started shadow work. So your angels are like, ooh, she's starting shadow work. So excited. So when your brain starts to get into that little still moment, they're like, oh, now's the time, put it in there. And that little thought will come up, right? Don't think that you have to run from all of it, because when you do start to do shadow work and that kind of stuff, it is scary. So you're going to want to kind of remove it. Like, ooh, I don't want to look at that. Let's put that back into the closet of skeletons, right? Just don't abandon it. Just understand that it's there and you're going to have to deal with it sometime. Okay. You can only push your skeletons and all the things that haunt you under the rug or in the closet for so long. There's going to be a time that's going to come that you're going to have to deal with your demons. Using the communication of the astral planes, that higher frequency will get you through that. Doing that on a denser level, a 3D level, is going to be very hard because it's very distractive. You have this, you have that, you have this, that, right? And since we are in the 3D flesh world, right? We're in the flesh. All of those distractions are literally merely to keep us away from God's source energy. They don't want that. So why not create all these oohs and ahs and all the things to distract us from source energy, God, where we're from, the guy that created us, it's literally to keep us from him. But when you can get back to you and take that time, make a little sanctuary in a room, go in your closet. It doesn't even have to be big. That's why they call them prayer closets. Go into the closet. Have that time, that communication with spirit. If Jesus is in spirit, but the church doesn't teach communication with spirit, how do we communicate? How are the people supposed to learn how to communicate? With spirit, right? That's prayer. Sorry. That's what that is. That is that time to set up communication with spirit, with Jesus. Jesus to me was an example. God said, you know what? I'm going to make you an example. You're a hybrid. Your mom is human and your dad is angelic. Archangel Gabriel. I'm going to give you these teachings and then I want you to spread the word. Okay? He's in spirit now because they killed him. They killed him for talking the truth. We as humans have to learn to communicate with spirit. That's not taught. We're just supposed to show up and pass the offering plate. No, the communication is with spirit. So notice the numbers that pop up, try to figure it out. I've had people that watch my snap and they're like, God, I've seen this number I never knew why. Look it up. It's very important. They're probably showing you the same number because you haven't looked it up to go on to the next number. There's kind of like I don't know how to say that. Like you just keep moving up the levels. And if I always see 222. Okay, look it up. There's a 333 too. It keeps going up. There's meaning. Just don't bypass something and think that there's no meaning for that. There's probably a meaning for that. And if not, the next is initiating communication. Yes. The angels cannot interfere with you. Okay, unless it's an emergency. If it's an emergency, they're going to be like, I'm sorry, I got to help her or him, whoever you are. Right? You have to initiate that. And that's part of the surrender. That's also part of like being saved, like saying like, I surrender my life to you. I am not going to try to control it. I'm going to allow you to control it because I want the communication with you. Please show me signs. I'm sorry when I doubt you. There's times I doubt. There's times I'm like, okay, damn, like just one more time. Give me that one more time. And then it shows up and I'm like, all right. Like, oh, damn. There's really harsh decisions that you're wanting to make in life. And you're not sure which way to go. And you're going to beat yourself up about it because you're not like certain, right? Ask your angels to help you. I promise they will help you. They will be so happy to help you. Like, they're like, they're going to tell everybody else. They need that. They need you to initiate it. Again, they can't just intervene, just jump in and be like, oh, no, I'm going to take control of this. Unless you're doing something bad of yourself. Like if you're starting to like hurt yourself or harm, do that kind of thing. That's when they can intervene. But other than that, no, you have to initiate that communication. You have to initiate that relationship with them. Also, they're always going to be there, and that's your free will. So it's almost like God's going, well, she, or whoever you are, if you're male, she has the opportunity to initiate this relationship and this communication with me or the angels, but she doesn't want to. Now, some of you guys may be thinking, well, I didn't know. Okay, that's fine. I get it. God said my people will die to a lack of knowledge. It's fine. But you have to start to learn to want to know. And in wanting to know is going to also say like, you're putting forth that initiation to have that relationship. Because you could go into any church and go, yep, I'm saved, and then walk out and be like, you didn't initiate any, you just showed up. Like, you don't get a pass. Like, that's not like when you pass through the doors of a church, like you get a golden ticket. God's not going to ask for all your tickets once you die. Like, it doesn't happen. It's not how that works. It's good works. It's good fruits. It's that kind of thing. What we're doing in service, just like what Jesus did, right? So talk out loud to them. Oh my goodness. I talk out loud to them all the time, especially my spirit guide, which I think is funny because sometimes I know people think that I'm just crazy, and honestly, I don't care, but it's funny to me because I'll like answer them, like say I'm in line or whatever, and like nobody's with me, but then like I'll answer my spirit guide out loud. So it looks like, I should put like an earbud in maybe so that like people at least think that I'm talking to somebody else. But yeah, really crazy sometimes because I'm like, sorry. Meditation and prayer. Yes, that's how you do that. I just did another video earlier on meditation. That's your prayer time. That's your little closet, your little sanctitude. You can get a little candles, sage the area. Bad spirits don't like that. Make that little area yours. That's like your place to just go and release, to recharge. a place to not have to be any type of label for somebody else. That place that it's like, I mean, shit, you could sit in there naked if you want to and just be like, oh, like I'm here, God, ass naked, So it's just, and even with that, it's how you present yourself. It's how you come to just go, I'm ready to just give you my life. Like I'm messing up bad, right? And sometimes those times come through really shitty traumas. You may go through something that's just like shooketh, and you're just like, wow, what is going on in my life right now? And that will actually bring you back to source energy. You may go through those times where you're just like, how did I even survive that? Let's talk about that. Again, your angels have always been there. Your ascendants have always been there. You just have not committed the relationship to going, okay, God, guide me. Because at that point the anxiety is gone, right? You're just kind of like, I'm just on the little tube. I'm just floating down the river. Wherever you want me to go, send me. Whatever you want me to say, tell me what I need to say. That's as easy as it is. So once you get through the meditation and the prayer and really learn how to meditate, it's not like clear your mind, no, it's being aware. It's being conscious of your surroundings and what's on the inside, the energy that flows through, right? It's being conscious of the blocks that you may have in your chakras. That's it. Once you clear some of your chakras, like I had a really hard time with my throat chakra. For me, I was better seen than heard as a child, so I didn't know how to communicate like that. I really didn't have that communication time because I was kind of silent, So as I got older, I had to recognize that, bring that skeleton out of the closet and go, okay, this is where my problem is, right? This is where it stemmed from. This is why. Forgive those people, forgive yourself, right? Clear it out. And then you have to like recognize, okay, well, that's something that I need to work on. So when things do come up in my life, utilize your throat chakra. Express those things that you do or do not want in your immediate life, your relationships, right? Because you're going to have energy cords that are bigger than others with certain people. Just depends on how long they've been in your life or what interaction that you've had within that relationship in that span, right? So prayer, meditation, work on it. I know sometimes I don't do my meditation, but it just seems like I pray differently now. It seems like it's not such a surface kind of prayer. It's more of that word just slipped out of my head. And I know it's, there's reason. There's rhyme and reason to what I'm praying for because I know the law of attraction. If I put certain things out there, the universe has now accepted it. So I need to be careful what I'm praying for. Intentional. That's the word. Thank you. Thank you. You know, I'm starting to be very intentional with my prayer. So spend time with them. This is the third one, and then we will go. Spend time with them. Stay off your phone. Quiet space. I feel like I kind of recovered that at the end of initiate communication. But staying off your phone, giving them time to communicate with you, giving them that space to communicate with you, which then again, it's kind of rude because think of yourself as like, if you are friends with this deity, right, you really can't see them. You really can't hear them unless you tune in or like you have that gift that it's just an innate gift that you have, right? But if you don't ever spend time with them or you don't ever give them room to talk, are you really having a relationship with them at that point? You know what I'm saying? Like it's not. You're almost using that spirit, whether it be an angel, whatever, selfishly, right? You're only using them when you need to cry out for God. Oh my God, help me! Da, da, da. You don't have that relationship as far as like a communication. To have a relationship, just like earlier when I was saying, when my spirit guide touches me, I feel him here. I know that that's him. I know that because that's been the thing. Same thing with my friend that had passed. I know that that's her because when I channeled her, that's what she did. I said, I want to know when you're here with me. How do I know that? Do something. And she did something. And I was like, okay, I doubt, I doubt, I doubt. Can you do it again? At first, it didn't happen. And I was like, okay, well, maybe that wasn't her. I doubted myself, right? So this is the communication that's going to be kind of a struggle bus because it's almost like, say they're blind, or would it be me? I would be blind and mute, and I'm trying to have a relationship with something invisible. That's hard. You're going to have to be real creative with how you communicate, right? That's setting up those excuse me, that is setting up those skills between you and that entity, just like you would do with Jesus. He knows you. He's in spirit. Okay. He sees what is going on. You have to have that communication with him in order to get that, like, and again, communication is when you're dealing with something. If you're dealing with something like 3D is really hard. Earth is hard to live on. We are the only planet that has emotion. Okay. So it's very hard when you're dealing with the 3D entities, right? I kind of consider this our hell. When you're dealing with that, sometimes you don't know how to take it, or sometimes it really hurts you. So you're kind of like, you don't know what to do with it. You don't know how to step forward. You don't know, do you step back? That kind of thing. If you call on certain angels to show you, I think it's Gabriel, show you, let me see what I need to see in this situation right here. Maybe something's going on at work. Same thing. Archangels, please allow me. I feel like there's holes in the story. I feel like somebody's lying to me. Please let me see, open my eyes to see what is going on in this situation. And I promise you, they will do it. Sometimes you don't want to see it. Sometimes they show you stuff and you're like, damn. And most of the time, it's stuff that you didn't want to face. It's stuff that you didn't want to face, but now they just put it in your face. Like, yes, you have to deal with this. And you're like, I really don't want to deal with this. Let me put that back in the bag. I'll deal with this. Because we all have things that we have to deal with. It's almost like a filing cabinet of fuckery. It's a lot. Mine has a lot of little files that I'm like, how did I survive that? What was going on in my life at that time to make the landscape of my mind look like that? It was all perspective, but I didn't know that at that time. I was just running through life like, I'm human. Give me this. I deserve this. I'm very selfish, very ooey. Looking back now, I'm like, we're gonna put that back there. Like that's not my shining point. But you have to recognize it to get through it. That's part of the meditation too. I'm telling you, they're gonna dig up some shit. Your angels are gonna be like, look at this. Let's deal with this today. And it's not like you can go, you know what? I'm gonna do this on Monday, and by Thursday, everything's gonna be peachy keen. No. No. Self-development and shadow work is ugly. And you will ugly girl cry or ugly boy cry. Whatever you're doing. It's not going to be pretty. Because you're digging up shit. Things that hurt you. Things that you were just collateral damage in. A lot of the times you were just collateral damage. But you took it. You held on to it. You made it part of you. And now you carry it in your storyline. That's no point out. So what did we go over today? We went over communication, touch, numbers, music, manipulating electronics. Look, I do spirit sessions at my creek in my backyard, and they manipulate the electronics to be able to speak to me. I do this on my Snapchat if you want to follow. That's how they can do that also with you. Again, if you're driving, you're thinking about something, and then all of a sudden you're like, I just need a word from God. And all of a sudden something says something, and you're like, oh, okay, well, thank you. And then we have initiate. You have to initiate it. Initiate it. Write it down. Lord, I'm serious. It seems so like, but really, Dear Lord, I'm sorry I'm a shitty human. Seriously, don't try to overthink it. Don't put thuses and thous into it. It needs to be you. Forgive yourself. You didn't know back then. You do now. You know now. So you're like, you know, and then spend time with them. Spend time with them. That's what you see my room here, my loft. This is where I can go and cry if I need to cry. May not have anything to do with my husband, my children, my family. May just be something I'm working on. That release. I need that. I needed to give myself permission to exist. And I was not doing that for a long time. I was allowing people to tell me how to exist. And I lost myself in it. And that sucked ass. It did. I was so full of anxiety, I didn't even know which way was up, honestly. Upside down. And I started to feel like that was life. I started to feel like that was normal. And I'm like, something's wrong, something's wrong. But all this stuff with the angels and that kind of thing seems to always have been part of my life because I have had encounters and I do know that they exist, but it seems kind of interesting to me that this right here, this time frame, is when I actually was like, you know what? They do exist. I need to have communication. I'm fucking up in life. I'm not doing this right. Why am I attracting really shitty people? It's because I was shitty. I had to realize that. I had to cut off my shitty people to fix myself because I didn't want to be down at the lower dense vibrational kind of frequencies. I didn't want to be there anymore. I didn't like that. That was sticky. That was icky. And I felt like I had 6,000 masks for each fucking person. Didn't like it. I was done. So I was like, all right, God, that's it. I'm here. What do you want me to know? What do you want me to see? What do you want me to do? And it all started to unravel and fall in my lap. And I was like, okay, God. And then it did become very fearful because I was kind of like, okay, I'm alone. Like, people don't understand me right now. It's because your circle that is dense doesn't understand your self-development because they're not doing it for themselves. They don't understand it. Now you're at a different vibration. You guys are vibrating on a different frequencies. When you get on the same frequency, you're going to start, or as you get on a frequency and you start to get into groups or people of like-minded, when you start to do that, you're going to recognize that your tribe just kind of shows up. You're at the same frequency. Some people will fall away. God said people will fall away. Let them. You can only help for so long. It's not your job to wake them up. Plus, think about God. Maybe it's not that person's time. So God's going, stop trying to wake them up. They got like 4 other, lessons to do. What are you doing? It's almost like if we were all in school, it's almost like you're helping that person cheat. So they're not actually going through their lessons properly. You're helping them cheat. They have to go through it. Just be there. Ground the light. Yep. But most of your friends are going to fall away. Most of your family will fall away too. And that's okay. At first going through it, I was like, no, like, I felt like I was so connected to these certain people. And then whenever I started to unpack our relationship, like my relationship with that particular person, I was like, wow, I'm watering their plants a lot. I'm giving them a lot of my fruits. I'm teaching them a lot of things. What are they doing for me? Not in a selfish way. It's not, none of this self-development stuff needs to even be thought of as selfish. Okay. You're just looking at the character in the timeline that you guys were in or are in. Okay. That's it. You're just looking at it. After that, then you have to start to recognize that those people were not good for you. They were probably drilling holes in your boat. sabotaging you. You don't want that in your life. So stop holding on to people that are falling away. God's trying to remove them, and you keep trying to help them cheat. You know, like you have to kind of think of it that way. Think of life. I talk on my Snap about life as hotel floors. As you move up, the people on the bottom floor, it's too dense. It's not, it's kind of icky down there. Kind of smells like basement, you know. No, thank you. Laundry room, no. As you move up the floor, your vibration is going to get higher too. And those people who are on that floor are going to be like, hey, like-minded. Want to talk about spirits? You know, want to talk about demonology, metaphysics, parapsychology? You know, it's like all those things are going to start to come out. Now you're on that vibration with those people. And then you're looking up the floors and you're seeing the people that are higher ascended because that's your goal to be there. The people on the bottom floor aren't looking up. They're distracted by the bullshit around them. Okay. Recognize that. And it's sad. You're going to go through, you're going to look at somebody and be like, why didn't you rise? Why didn't you learn? Like, it kind of saddens me that we can't be up on these same levels. You can't help them cheat. You got to let them go through it. You came across my channel probably because you're into this kind of stuff or you want to learn this kind of stuff. This is like-minded. Most people would have already turned it off. They're not ready. And that's okay. The people that are ready, just like with this, the people that are ready, if God, I guess, deems you ready, right? This video is just going to fall into your line of sight. Click. That's how I came across a lot of my videos that I started to learn off of. I just was asking, I'm like, okay, I loved that video, guys. If there's anything else you want to teach me, throw it in the like little sidebar that like gives you other videos. And then new things would pop up and I'm like, click. Thank you. Let me learn about that. Just let them manipulate it. Let them guide you. They've been here longer than we have. So I feel like they're pretty trustworthy. You know, it's like, I've only been here almost 50 years. So I feel like that's nothing compared to some of the beings that have been on Earth for hundreds of years. People living to be 150. How old was Moses? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe 200 and something. I don't know. Don't quote me. But yeah, you guys take all that into consideration. Thank you for listening to my video. I hope you guys have a perfect day. I do not know how to log out of this yet. I'm learning. So I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Wait, yes.